got a run for a MVA. We got multiple calls on, so usually when you get multiple calls that it's legit. And it was one of those things where after going on these for quite a while, you can look at a vehicle and go, there was a lot of impact here. Did our normal kind of size up. The patient was still in the vehicle. Unfortunately, it was one of those where you could tell there was nothing that we were going to do for that person.
The amount of impact, the mechanism of injury.
Yes, and following certain protocols, it's like, unfortunately, there's nothing we can do here.
Right. It was a obvious deceased situation.
Yes. We did what we needed to do, and we made sure once we did our assessments and all those things and had everything kind of done and made sure we, respectfully covered the person, and we knew that, the procedure afterwards, there's going to be an investigation and then medical examiner, and then our job would be to extricate the person after all the investigation was done and stuff like that. So what we tried to do was respectfully cover the scene as much as possible so no one. And I remember sitting in the front of our truck while we're waiting for some of this stuff to get done, and we see a person walk up, talk to a police officer. I'm watching this out of the windshield of my truck, and you could tell the second that person got that information, because like William said, he fell to his knees, and it was pretty rough to watch because,
he's getting the worst news ever.
Yes. And this is, we talk a lot about moral injury.
Help me there. Define that a little bit. So what you mean by
the
that?
The best way I describe moral injury is human injury. It's the human emotion.
Okay.
Right? It's
so like the gut check of watching something and having to watch somebody go through something, quote, they shouldn't have to.
Yes. You're not seeing necessarily the gory situation, but it's a gut punch to watch somebody find out that their loved one is dead.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
It gets to you because you're a human. Right? It's a human injury. I remember doing all of this and doing peer support and stuff like that. I got out of my truck and walked over and tried to console the person and try to use some of the peer support, the mental health skills that I had. And I remember this person looked at me and was like, can I go see the patient? And I go, unfortunately right now you can't.
It's not safe.
It's not safe, those types of things. And another thing that I remember is they asked us, they're like, well, when you take the person out, can you just do it very respectfully? I assured them, I'm like, I'm going to be one of the people doing it, and I guarantee you 100% we are going to be as respectful as possible. Yeah. That could be any one of our family members. How would you want somebody to, if that was your family member, right?
Yeah.
So after all the stuff was done that needed to be done, then it was time to extricate the person. We made sure we pulled all rigs up and made a box so nobody could see inside that box, because we were going to obviously have to do it out on the roadway. And then every first responder who was there actually formed a circle, like almost a double barrier. So
yeah, we were really trying to protect
we were really
the dignity of the human being we're trying to continue in their path.
And, we had asked permission from the medical examiner. They said, yes, we can do that. So once we extricated the person, myself and another lieutenant on the scene knelt down in the street and cleaned this person up right in the middle of the street. So it didn't look like this person was even in a car accident.
Sure.
Right? Because you don't want the last. Yeah. Yes. So we took the time to do it very respectfully, and we had the person very cleaned up. It didn't look like there was even an accident, right? Because we didn't want the last visual to be that. Sure. Right? And so once we had that person all looking how they should, we brought the family member over. And it was funny because none of us even talked, but as the family member came over to talk to their loved one, everybody turned around, like had their
kind of gave them a moment.
They
became the curtain rather than the
we all turned around. We had our back to them, so it was still as much privacy as we could
what
give
you're going to get on a main road.
Yes, but unfortunately, myself and this lieutenant were close enough. We could hear what that person was saying to their loved one. Ugh. That's moral injury number 2, right? You see the pain, you see the injuries, you see all that, but to stand there and listen to this person talking to their loved one who's no longer there. I remember standing next to the guy, we didn't look at each other, but we both knew, both of us had tears in our eyes, and it was one of those things where it's not always the gory, it's things like that when I'll never forget what that person said to their loved one, right? It's one of those situations that you'll never forget it. But the part you feel good about is that you were able to do that for that human being. Unfortunately, we couldn't save their loved one, but fortunately, we could give them that little last goodbye type thing. And so I know for a fact, I mean, I'm only going to speak for myself. I'm not going to speak for other people there, but that was the stuff that actually stuck with me a week and a half later, that when I do my bi-weekly therapist visits, that's what we talked about. That was the stuff that bothered me on there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That makes complete sense of why that would bother you.
Yeah.
You know, seeing an accident, it's like, oh, that's rough. But that doesn't drain on you until you hear how the human was impacted.